Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming out.
My watch says it's late in the afternoon.
Does it? Maybe you should.
Oh, I didn't change that.
Yeah. Welcome back. How much jet lag are you experiencing?
As yet to be determined.
Okay.
My fair share.
That's going to be my first sleeper.
Yeah. We're here. This is an open enrollment information meeting for the 2019 benefits. I am not going to be presenting today, so I know you're probably all here under false pretenses, but I'm putting you in really good hands. This is Nina from the Garen Group.
Hi, everyone.
Mary Ellen from the Bentech Group, and Jason from Preferred Legal Plan. And they're going to be going over all of our 2019 benefit options and how to enroll in them. I do want to ask that everybody, if you have questions as we go through the presentation, write them down and save them to the end. We are recording this presentation to be used as a presentation for the fire department and the police department who are unable to come to the meetings. So without questions interrupting throughout, it'll be kind of a good flow for them. And then I want to take the questions that come up in the meetings and create a frequently asked questions document that we're going to be posting out on the internet for everybody. So does everybody have a pen and paper to write questions on? Excellent, good. All right, then with that said, I'm going to hand it off to Nina.
All right, so good morning, everybody. As she mentioned, my name is Nina. I'm with the Garen Group. We are your guys' benefits consultants, and we like to come out at least once a year. I'm sure that Susie and Alan will see us a whole lot more than that and probably get tired of seeing us, but hopefully I get to see you more often than once a year. But we do like to come out once a year, get together with you, talk about your benefits, and open enrollment, make sure you get your questions answered. And then also remember throughout the year, we are also available to you if you guys have questions about your benefits, if you need help with a particular claim, or if you need help filing an appeal or anything like that, just know that we are available to help you out throughout the year also. All right, so we are in the open enrollment season. We're kicking it off today, and it will run until 5 o'clock on the 9th. It is that one time of year that you get to make changes to your benefits, and that isn't a rule of your employer. It's actually an IRS rule because you are part of a cafeteria plan and you get to make your premiums pre-tax for some of your benefits. So the IRS has rules. One of them is that you make your elections for the year. You keep those elections unless you have what's called a qualified life event, which we're going to talk about in a future slide. If you have one of those, then you would be allowed to make a change. All of your elections will need to be made on the Bentech system, and that is Bentech with a K. And we are going to have the IT lab open so that you guys can come in. We're happy to help assist you as you get more familiar with your new benefit enrollment system, and then those elections will be effective January 1st. So I mentioned that it is the one time of the year that you can add, drop, make plan changes, and again, that is an IRS rule unless you have one of the events that's listed here, and those are things that feel like an event. So things like marriage, birth of a child, your spouse either gains or lose coverage with their employer, divorce, those types of things. If you have one of those events, you have 30 days to make a change. You'll need to make that change in the Bentech system, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to Susie too, okay? All right, so just a couple open enrollment highlights. Your medical plan continues with Florida Blue, and then FCL continues to be your dental, life, and disability provider. Vision remains with Humana, and Task will continue to do the flexible spending accounts. Preferred Legal is here represented today, and they will also be offering the ID Works. And then we are going to talk about a couple new benefits that you guys have, one of them being Cigna. So they are going to be providing your worksite products. So if you currently have one of the other hospital, critical illness, cancer, accident, those types of products, those will turn to bill at home products, and the products that we're going to talk about will be effective on January 1st. You also have a new benefit. It's a veterinary discount benefit, and that's Pedisure. We're going to talk a little bit about that also. The information that we're talking about, because I know we're going to cover a lot, it's hard to remember. There's information in your booklets, which, is there anybody who didn't get a booklet? Okay, so there's going to be information in the booklet, and then when you're on the Ventec site, throughout the year you're able to access the section of the site where you can look at the benefit summaries and information out there, and then you also have the information on your employee corner. Dependent eligibility during open enrollment, I just like to remind everybody to review the dependent eligibility for the different products that you may be making changes and enrolling your children in. Just be sure that they meet the eligibility rules. I always hate for somebody to incur a large claim and then the carrier asks, well, was that person actually really eligible to be on the plan? Did they meet the participant eligibility rules? So just be sure to review those as you're going along and make sure that your children and your dependents meet those rules. Medical highlights. So we're going to talk about the medical plan first. Hopefully this information looks very familiar to you because there aren't any changes to your medical plan itself. There was a slight increase on the premium of about 3%, which we're going to look at, but the benefits themselves haven't changed. Always like to remind you too that not only do you have the medical and the prescription benefit, but you also have a lot of value added tools and resources available to you that we sometimes forget about. There's information about them in the booklet, but you can take advantage of a lot of them using the floridablue.com, where you'll go and set up, hopefully you've already done so, but where you can set up your account to access them. You can also download the mobile app for your phone so that if you're someplace and you need to find a provider or you want to use the cost estimator tool, you have that available. So a few years back, I had the opportunity to use these cost estimator tools when my boat collided with a bridge, and I got to use my full benefit amount for the year, first time I'd ever met my deductible. But I took advantage of the cost estimator tools to price out an MRI. I used the RX cost estimator tools and the $4 Walmart list, the $5 Target list, and the Publix list, their free list. And that year I saved myself about $3,000 in medical expenses. So you don't have to use it every day, but if you ever have one of those situations where you actually need to use the full value of your plan, be sure that you know that those cost estimators are out there and available to you. You also have access to health coaches, the 24-hour nurse hotline. So at that particular incident, I reached out to the 24-hour nurse hotline. I gave her my symptoms. I also gave her the symptoms of my friend that was with me on the boat who was projectile vomiting next to me. She went to the ER, and I was advised that I could go to the urgent care unless the following couple of things happened over the course of the evening, which didn't. And her bill was $7,700 and mine was $700, and we had the same x-rays on opposite sides of the body. So just whenever you have the ability to take advantage of some of those tools, it can really save you money and also can help you make an informed decision. Okay. As I mentioned, the premiums did go up slightly this year, so it was about a 3% increase. So this slide here shows you what the per pay period deductions will be. That information is also in your booklet. So it's available to you along with the table where you'll see the actual benefits listed out. So hopefully this table looks familiar, but I just like to kind of remind people, most of you hopefully are getting to take advantage of the copay. So if you go and you see your general practitioner or your specialist, you're paying that $25 copay. If you are getting a medication, you're likely going to use the slide we go to next. But if you are in the situation, for my example, where I actually had to use the benefit, just want to be sure that you understand how the plan would work. So you would pay that negotiated rate for that service until, let's say you're employee only, until you met your single calendar year deductible of $300. Then you go into what's called co-insurance, and it's basically a sharing of expenses. You're paying 20% of the amount over that deductible. The plan is paying 80%. Once you hit your maximum out of pocket of $2,000, then you are no longer responsible for claims that are incurred for allowable charges, okay? Now I mentioned the prescriptions. So on this plan, your prescriptions are co-pays. You have the opportunity to take advantage of the 90-day mail order copay. If you do that, it's 2 times the cost here, except for on that non-preferred, it's a little bit less than 2 times. And you pay for a 60-day supply, but you get a 90-day supply. So whenever possible, take advantage of that if you're on a maintenance medication. All right. So Mary Ellen's going to come up and visit with you about the new worksite products.
Okay, so I have double duty here. I'm going to talk about worksite, and I also work for BenTech. So your worksite products are your supplemental type products, which are going to be the AFLAC and I think the Trustmark that you have before. Those plans are no longer going to be payroll deducted, so they have come in with the Cigna plans. And they look pretty closely. I mean, there's always some slight differences, but you're going to have 3 options with Cigna that you can elect. You're going to have an accident plan, you're going to have a critical illness plan, I'll talk about those, and then you're also going to have a hospital plan. So they're going to be 3 different type of plans. And again, if for some reason you happen to maybe not have your whole family on your medical plan, but yet you want to have family coverage on one of these type of plans, you absolutely can do that. They are standalone, so it does not have to coincide with any elections you make on the medical or the dental side. Okay? So let's go ahead and talk first of all about your accident type of plan. The accident plan is a 24-hour plan, so it will cover you on the job and off the job. And it is for things that are accidental, like broken bones and burns and ruptured discs and things that you may have to go to the emergency room for, you may have to go to urgent care for. But it's something that you're going to seek initial treatment for. Usually we say a prudent person would usually seek treatment for an accident within 72 hours, but you know, that's just kind of a rule of thumb. You also have accidental death and dismemberment, and you have some wellness on the accident plan. You have a $75 wellness benefit per year per person on the accident plan. These plans are portable, so if forever you were to leave the city and you wanted to take them with you, absolutely you can do that at the cost that you are paying for with the city. The only thing is, obviously, it wouldn't be payroll deducted anymore, so you'd be paying for that on a monthly basis. Okay, so we're going to give you an example of somebody that has an accident plan, and we actually used your deductible amounts that you have with your Florida Blue to give you an example. So here we have Margie, and she has an accident. She slips and falls. And can you hit it for me there? Okay, so she goes to urgent care, and on your plan now, she'd have $25 out of pocket. She would have a $500 deductible that she has to meet. She has some surgery coinsurance of $1,225, and after that, she has some physical therapy visits. And on your plan, it would have been $25, so she has cost of $250. So her total cost out of pocket is going to be $2,000 for her. If she were to have the Cigna accident plan, it would have covered her. She didn't go into the hospital. She just went to the emergency room. She didn't have an overnight stay. So she got $200 for that. She had a dislocated knee that Cigna would have paid $3,000 on. She fractured her wrist. She got money for that. She also had a follow-up appointment of $75, and those physical therapies, she would have received $50 per visit. So she got a complete benefit back from Cigna of $4,575. And it would have cost her, I'm looking up here, $9.41 per pay period to have that plan. So you can see how that would have helped her out. Not only did it cover the cost, but it gave her some extra money as well. And keep in mind, with any of the supplemental products, this is cash coming to you. Florida Blue pays the hospital, the surgical center, the doctor's office. Anytime you have a supplemental plan, the cash is coming to you. So I always say, in a perfect world, we can show you here where it can help pay your deductibles, but if something were to happen to you, you still need to pay your mortgage, car payments, Florida Power and Light. They don't always care that you've been in the hospital. So just keep that in mind. This cash, you can use it however you want to help pay those bills. Next plan is you have a critical illness type plan. Critical illness with Cigna is going to be a lump sum amount of money. You are allowed to elect the amount of money that you want to have for your lump sum. There are 3 different options. It can be either $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000. These are all guaranteed issues, so they're not going to ask you any medical questions at all this year. It is going to cover things like cancer, stroke, heart attack. I think your previous plan, you could have had just a cancer plan. Well, this one encompasses all of those type of diseases, right? So it really is a critical illness type plan for all those different illnesses, renal disease, organ failure, things like that. You are allowed whatever you choose to elect. Your spouse is entitled to 50% of that amount if you want to add a spouse. Children are covered free, and they would get 25% of whatever you elected. There is multi-benefit here, so gosh forbid you were to get cancer and then have a heart attack, you would be paid twice, depending on what you elected benefit-wise. And then there is a 12-month for same condition wait. So gosh forbid you have a heart attack. If you have to go back in for another heart attack, you would get paid again if it was within a 12-month period of time separation. And again, you have your wellness benefit of $50 on the critical illness plan. Okay. And then we're going to give you another example. We have a 48-year-old here. He has a heart attack. Obviously, if you go into the hospital on your medical plan with a heart attack, you're going to pretty quickly meet your maximum out of pocket. So we're going to assume he had met his $2,000. He could have other expenses after he left. So it cost him $2,750. If he had elected a $10,000 plan, he would have received $10,000. That's a pretty easy example. It's a lump sum amount of money. Okay. And then it is age banded, so the brochures that you have that you got at the front, that gives you, depending on where your age bracket is, it would tell you how much the cost would be for you. And then lastly, your third plan that you have is a hospital plan. The hospital plan is for an in-hospital stay, right? So I always use the example of my daughter had appendicitis. She ended up in the hospital. Well, I also had an accident plan, but that's not an accident, that's a sickness. So my accident plan wouldn't help, right? So hospital plan is for accidents, but also sickness, okay? So we're going to give an example again. We have a 48-year-old Joan. She happens to go into the hospital. She has her out-of-pocket of $2,000, and let's say she has some additional expenses when she gets out of $100. So she spent $2,100. If she had the hospital plan, she would have received $1,000 for being in the hospital. If she was in ICU per day, she would get $200. And a normal hospital stay is $100 a day. In this example, we use 3 days, so she got $1,500 back. Didn't completely cover her costs, but you can see where it did offset some of her out-of-pocket costs. And again, that's what these plans are meant to do. Again, it is age banded, so depending on your age, in our example, she was 48, so she paid $7.77 for her plan per pay period. So that kind of just gives you an overview. Again, you've got an accident plan, critical illness plan, and a hospital plan to select this year. And the selections would be made also through the BenTech system when you get there. Okay? That's it. And I think I'm going to pass it back to Nina. Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the dental plan. This is going to be, I might have to run the show. So hopefully the premiums look familiar. The dental premiums didn't change from last year. And again, the premiums are listed in your booklet. So the benefits are the same also as they were last year. One of the things I like to remind people about when we're talking during open enrollment, you guys have a PPO plan. So similar to your medical plan, you have the freedom of choice. You can choose a provider that's either in-network or out-of-network. You'll always hear us reminding you the financial benefit of you choosing an in-network provider. That also goes for your dental and your vision plans too. So on the dental plan, the difference between your base plan and your high plan is basically your co-insurance rate. So you have the same maximum benefit for each participant on the plan, regardless of which one you chose. It's just the high plan would pay a higher co-insurance rate than your base plan would be. If you chose to see a provider that was out of network, basically how the insurance company pays is they pay the maximum allowable charge for that service in your geographic location. So let's say your provider just recently remodeled their office, they're charging a higher rate than what's normal in your particular geographic location. The insurance company is going to pay that maximum allowable charge, and then your provider has the legal right to balance bill you for the difference. So I know a lot of times that's how some of us learn that our provider isn't an in-network provider, because we get that bill in the mail and we're not really sure why. It's very easy to go out and check to see if your provider is in the network, and we recommend that you do, because in the dental field in particular, they're not as regulated as the medical field. They almost always balance bill you for that difference, so I'd hate for you to get that surprise bill in the mail. So again, the differences between the two plans, if you're evaluating which one is a better fit for you and your family, the differences are in those co-insurance rates. You do get the same maximum benefit per individual on the plan for both the medical or the dental services and also the orthodontia services. Now, your benefit also has a special benefit for those of you who are taking advantage of your preventive services, and it's really important to do that because it's not just your oral health, but a lot of other health features are tied to your oral health. So they want to give you an incentive to take advantage of those services. So you have what's called a maximum rollover. Basically, if you have one preventive service a year and you don't go over the threshold there, which on your plan is $500, then you have an incentive the following year of $350. So if you go to the dentist, have a preventive service, you haven't spent more than $500, next year instead of $1,000, you actually have $1,350 to spend towards services and benefit. If again you go to a preventive service, that happens again, and you get another $350, so the next year you actually have a $1,700 benefit. So again, and it goes up to $1,000, so you're going to get a partial one in that third year, so then going into the fourth year, you would have $2,000 available for services. So it's a great way if you know that you're going to have a major service to actually stock up some money to be able to pay for that service. However, it does require that you have one of those preventive services every year. So if you miss 1 year, you go back to $1,000 and start over. Okay? Vision plan, there was a slight increase on the premiums on the vision plan. I believe off the top of my head, I think it was 17 for employee only and about 75 for employee family. The benefit is the same as it was last year. So again, you do have that in and out of network benefit. The important thing I always like to remind everybody about your vision plan is vision providers primarily do what's called a look-back period. So when it says there that you have an exam every 12 months, lenses every 12 months, frames every 24 months, when you go in for that service, they look back to see when you got it last. And you don't want to go in at 11 months and 27 days because that benefit's not going to be available to you. So be sure you wait till that 12-month or that 24-month mark, depending on which one of the benefits you're taking advantage of. Flexible spending accounts, these are going to be with task again. Your employer offers 2 types, so this is a great way for you guys to maximize your paychecks. So it gives you an opportunity to set money aside pre-tax to pay for qualified expenses. On the health care account, those qualified expenses are medical, dental, and vision expenses. On the health care dependent care spending account, those are actually daycare expenses. So if you have a child under the age of 13 or you have somebody living in your household that's not capable of self-care, then you could set these funds aside pre-tax to pay those expenses. On the healthcare FSA, it's a $2,650 opportunity. So you can put up to $2,650 into this account. That amount is available to you on the first day of the plan year. Then you basically reimburse the account from your paychecks pre-tax throughout the year. You have a 2.5-month grace at the end of the year to incur additional charges, and then you have 90 days after the end of the year to submit for your reimbursement. Then you also have the dependent care FSA, and that is up to $5,000. And if you do have somebody who's in daycare, you know it's really easy to spend $5,000 on daycare. So let's say you're in the 20% tax bracket and you take advantage of this, you've saved yourself $1,000. So again, it's a really great way for you to maximize your money. Just a reminder, you do have the basic life and AD&D provided by your employer. So this is 1 times your salary up to a cap of $100,000. You also have a matching AD&D. So if your death was the event of an accident, it would actually pay double to your beneficiary. It also has a benefit for partial loss, dismemberment, things like that. Never a fun topic, but important to know that it's there. You also have the ability to purchase voluntary term life. The importance here is that when you're initially hired, in that initial window, you have a guaranteed issue amount that you can take advantage of and not have to go through medical underwriting. After that window, if you haven't purchased it, then you would have to fill out the medical questionnaire, potentially maybe have a medical exam and be approved. If you did take advantage of this and you are under the guaranteed issue amounts that are listed there, you actually have an annual guaranteed issue. So for employee only, it's $10,000. For spouse, it's $5,000 that you can get without that EOI requirement until you hit those guaranteed issue amounts of $120,000 for employee and $50,000 for spouse. Short-term disability provided to you by the city. So this covers you, it pays 60% of your earnings up to $1,200 a week for a disability that lasts more than 29 days. So on the 30th day, it would start paying you 60%, and it would run for a duration of 9 weeks. Now, from there, you would automatically transition into the long-term disability, which again is provided by your employer. The 40% is provided by the city up to a monthly amount of $5,000, and that happens after 90 days. So if your disability lasts more than 90 days, on the 91st day, this plan would kick in and pay at 40%. Then you have the opportunity to purchase an additional 20% so that you're actually getting 60% of your monthly earnings during that time frame. And all of this and the related premiums and everything is going to be on the Bentech site as you're going through. You'll see exactly what those costs are. And there's a little calculator that runs as you are selecting things so that you know what your out-of-pocket costs are. Jason is going to visit with you about the legal plan and the identity theft. And I'll just scoot out of the way here.
Thanks, Nina. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Rudolph. I am an attorney. I'm also one of the owners of the Preferred Legal Plan. This I'll be speaking about two. It'll be Preferred Legal Plan, which is this pamphlet. It's also in the booklet on page 17, but I have some additional handouts, which is the legal plan, and then the second product is the identity credit monitoring plan. So to start out with the legal plan, you can see free legal advice over the phone. That really can be pretty expansive. Really, anything that we can help you with is going to be anything that is away from the job. We can't help you with any issue that you have against the City of Venice or any issue that they might have against you. That's a conflict of interest for us. We are a personal legal plan. So just to get that out of the way initially, that's the only thing we don't cover. We don't cover labor employment issues. We don't know it, and it's better off that we do not speak about that. So everything you can tell us personally, of course, will remain 100% confidential. Anything that you tell me is going to go to my grave with me. Unless you say you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else, then as an officer of the court, they want me to report that, but that doesn't happen. So, advice, anything that's personal. It could be anything. It could be you're leaving the job, you get a traffic ticket. You get home and the landlord is giving you a problem and they won't fix something wrong with the unit. It could be a neighbor dispute. It could be you live in a condo association and having problems with the condo commandos. So nothing is too small. The cleaner can lose a blouse. Really, we've written letters for really anything. A cease and desist letter, somebody's harassing you. So that's just what we do with the advice, review of legal documents, and the free letters and phone calls to third parties. Now, the documents, you'll notice, are very helpful. If you're going to close on a house, or if you're going to sign a contract, or if you're going to lend somebody money. First of all, if you're going to lend somebody money, let me get you a promissory note. We can write it up in 15 minutes and email it to you, so we can get something in writing. If you're going to do a refinance, send me a good faith estimate. Let me look at the closing costs. A couple of weeks ago, we saved one of our members over $1,500 by one phone call from me to his mortgage broker. And the mortgage broker I said, we're not going to go with this loan. We're going to find another mortgage broker unless you get rid of this origination charge. And that was $1,500, and the interest rate did not change. So that's on one phone call, and it's very easy. What you do is you're dealing with the insurance company. So if you have an issue, just call our home office or email something into our home office, and we'll talk, and an attorney, me or somebody else that specializes in the area that you need will speak to you immediately. So it's really nice. And then we are the only attorney-owned and run legal plan in the state of Florida. And we've been operating for 20 years. So we're very confident that you'll get the service that you need when you have a legal situation. Loan modification, it happens. A lot of times people are upside down with their houses. They need to apply. We look at the application. A common trick in loan modification applications is that sometimes people get very defensive and they list all their expenses, but then the mortgage company says, well, even if we modified your loan, you wouldn't have enough money to pay us. So we have to always look at those applications to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. And that's the same thing. If somebody's asking you to sign a contract, send it in to us. Let us review it first and give you advice so you feel more comfortable doing so. Okay? Face-to-face consultations. If you say, you know what, I appreciate your advice, it's very easy, we could get over the phone and email, but I want to sit down with an attorney, then we'll get you somebody in your area that specializes in the particular area that you need for a free face-to-face consultation. Wills. Who's got a will? Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Generally, I encourage any couple that has minor children to get a will in Florida. The state of Florida has a quirky probate law that if, God forbid, a mother and father pass away, that the court assigns a guardian ad litem to determine who gets custody of your child. And it can be avoided by just doing a will and saying, I want my sister to get custody of God forbid. I want my brother. So you can designate that in a will and not have any confusion. So that's something that we do for free. It's included in the plan, as you can see. And then the forms. This is I think, a really nice benefit for anybody because it could be anything. We have forms, like I told you about the promissory note or any kind of contract. What about divorce forms? If you and a spouse are looking to get a divorce or you already are divorced and you have a post-judgment matter, we have all the forms to help you do a divorce essentially by yourself without referring you to any other attorney. So you would call in our office and I would get you the forms that you need. We can go through them line by line and we help you complete the forms and tell you filing instructions, and that's all included. So if you ever have a situation like that, it's the best way, and it'll save you literally thousands of dollars. If anybody's ever seen an attorney before, I would know that that's true. And then notary services, don't forget. Banks are starting to get a little squirrely. They don't want to notarize documents, so we just get you to one of our local attorneys to do it and go into their office. We make an appointment. It's very organized. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So if you need an attorney to go into court with you, that's where there are charges. So 90% of the time, I like to say 9 out of 10 calls that come into our office, we're doing the work, we're getting you the forms, we're giving you advice. There's no additional charge at all. Everything that you pay is included. Okay, that includes the letters, that includes the wills, that includes credit cleanup. That's all included. But if you say to me, listen, my spouse has sued me for divorce, he or she has an attorney, I want to get an attorney to go into court with me. Okay, not a problem. We'll get you into one of our panel attorneys' office. You get a free face-to-face consultation, and they're going to discount their rate because of your membership in Preferred Legal. And that's a discount on their hourly rate. I usually say it's about 25 to 40%, up to 70% is really for some of the fixed services, like a bankruptcy if you need an attorney to do that, or some kind of immigration service where you don't want to do the forms yourself with our assistants. That's where you can save a lot of money on the attorney's fees. So we have negotiated deals with local attorneys that if you need formal representation, they will work for you at a lower price, and the consultation is free. If you don't like the person we refer you to, we'll get you to somebody else and somebody else until you're comfortable. Okay, so the coverage. It's a family plan, this legal plan, okay? You're the matriarch of the family. If you have this plan, your entire household can get the benefit from this. So it could be a spouse, it could be an elderly parent that lives with you, it could be a brother and sister that lives with you, a child, even if they're out of college and they have their own family. We will speak to them and help them. So this is a family plan, a very good benefit. We're trilingual. 24/7. We don't have any pre-existing conditions. If you have a legal problem going on right now and you join our plan, January 1st when it becomes effective, you could call us and we'll deal with that pre-existing issue. It doesn't matter. There's no waiting period either. So the second that you need us, you call us. And we've had people call quite a bit because they need the help. And so they use us a lot. Maybe they'll call 20 times in a month. Okay. Then the next month, maybe they won't need us as much. But that's the thing. There's unlimited use, immediate use of membership. And as I said, everything is confidential. Okay? The price, $9.95 a month, $4.59 biweekly pay period. That's family plan for the legal plan. And that would be this one, excuse me. So we're going to move on to the identity protection. I didn't say one more point. The legal plan does clean up your credit, okay? That's part of the free letter writing and review. So if you get us a copy of your credit report, and we'll tell you how to do that for free, send it in to us. I always see something wrong with somebody's credit report. Something is on there it shouldn't be. It's either too old, a negative mark shouldn't be older than 7 years, or it's being reported in duplicate, or the account doesn't even belong to you. And that's a great way to identify identity theft. And that'll take me into the next plan, which is credit monitoring through Experian. It's called Identity Works. This is the plan that competes with like a LifeLock. Has everybody heard those commercials? Credit monitoring. This LifeLock actually gets their information from Experian. Experian is one of the 3 major credit bureaus. In fact, the only credit bureau that hasn't been hacked. So Equifax, 150 million people. They got into their database. TransUnion's a little smaller. Experian is the best credit agency out there, out of the 3, in my opinion. And they partnered with us because they know we're offering the plan and we're making presentations to groups around the state. And they wanted to increase their participation. So it's $1 cheaper to buy it, to get it here than to buy it online. You can go online and see it for $10. We offer it for $9. If you get it with the legal plan, we can discount it 2 more. So they stand alone, or if you combine them, you'll save money on the identity. Okay, so it could be identity alone for $9. If you get it with the legal, it's $7. Okay, identity is not household. Identity is Social Security specific. So everybody who has a Social Security, it's you, spouse, children. The social is what we're going to look for. So the social is a plan. So we might have your plan and then a spouse's plan. So that would be 2 plans, everybody's social. What do they do? They monitor your credit. They make sure people aren't opening accounts. They send you an email if an account's open. If something's suspicious, if there's inquiries, too many inquiries will ding your credit score every time they inquire. They'll tell you in an email. And if you're a victim of identity theft, they also have the $1 million policy, like LifeLock. Everything's the same. Lost wallet protection. It's a nice credit monitoring plan. If you were ever thinking, should I get that? Do I want that? Is it interesting? Do I need that? It's a good opportunity to get it. Okay. I'll be hanging around afterwards. If you have specific questions you want to ask me, if you think the plan or the identity plan can help you, I'll answer them. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
All right, we just have a couple more slides. As I mentioned, you guys do have a new benefit. It's a veterinary discount plan called Pet Assure. The premiums are listed there on the left-hand side of the screen. So you can have a single pet household, or you can have multiple pets, and it isn't just cats and dogs. They do some exotic animals too, and it includes things like ferrets and big animals, things like that. And we're
Pets are family too. Give your
It's okay, it's okay. No, I was just going to say we're going to play a quick
Pets are
video.
family too. Give your pets the care they deserve at a price you can afford. With Pet Assure, you'll save on all your pet's medical services, including routine care visits, sick visits, vaccinations, emergency visits, any type of dental care, and even surgeries. Veterinary care can be expensive. Pet Assure helps make it affordable. And we're not insurance, so you can enroll any kind of pet. And there are no exclusions, even pre-existing conditions are included. It's easy to use. Just present your ID card at a participating vet, and the vet will discount your bill right then and there. No claim forms, and no limits on how much you can save. Pet Assure only costs pennies a day and can easily save you hundreds of dollars. So what are you waiting for? Enroll now and save. Protect your pets and protect your wallet.
I did take a look at their website, and I have a list here of your local veterinarians that participate in the Pet Assure plan. You had quite a few. You actually had 3 or 4 mobile veterinary providers in your area too. So then the last thing I want to talk about is your guys' employee assistance program, and it's basically just a reminder that it's available to you. A lot of times we see it's an underutilized benefit, and just want to be sure that you know that it's something that's available to you and your family. A lot of times people think about the EAP as a mental health benefit or drug and alcohol rehab, which it is, that's where it originated, but there's a lot of other benefits that your employee assistance program offers that we forget to take advantage of. Things like credit counseling opportunities, help in your community finding things like pet care, elder care, child care, things like that. So a lot of life support services. So just a reminder that you have that available to you, and that is the same provider that you guys had before. So Bentech, as Mary Ellen mentioned, she is here with Bentech, and we are here to support you guys in getting familiar with the system because we recognize that it is a new system, and because it is required that you enroll this year, we have lab times starting, I believe, at 1 o'clock. Is that right, Susie? And so we'll have lots of times in the next 2 weeks available for you. So find one that works well for you. Come in. There'll be somebody there manning the labs to help you guys get enrolled. The lab will be available. If you choose to do this on your own time outside of the office, that's fine. You can access it anywhere you have have access to the internet site. It does close at 5 p.m. You do have to hit the submit button at the end. It doesn't record all of your steps, so be sure that you've gone through the process, submitted, and you're out of the system by 5 p.m. on the 9th. Bentech also has, on page 1 of your booklet is more information about Bentech. They also have people available in the office if you are working on this at home and you get stuck or you're in your office during lunch hour or something, you can reach out to them. They'll assist you. If it's after 5 o'clock, you can leave a voicemail and they will call you back the next day to help you through the system. It's really important that you have your dependent's date of birth and social security number if you are adding anybody. To start the process, you have to create an account. So basically, you're going to enter your date of birth as it's listed here, so month, day, and then the 4-year digit. And your password will be your social security number without any dashes. Once you get in, you're going to have to set up a username, a password, and a security question. There's several pages of security questions. If you don't find one you like, though, at the very end, you can just create your own security question. It's really important that you enter life insurance beneficiary information. As Jason mentioned, Florida has some quirky laws, so that information is not going to transfer over from the old system. And so you have to validate that you are making those elections, so it has to be entered by you, sort of like your FSA has to be enrolled in every year. Right now, as we initiate this new system, you will have to designate your beneficiaries. You have a primary and a contingent option, and you can certainly designate multiple beneficiaries. So the website is mybentech.com/City of Venice. And as I mentioned on page 1 of your booklet, that information is also located there. All right, that's our presentation. Do you guys have questions?
Okay.
Yay, thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Did you just wake up?
Had a long flight.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So the answer is yes. On the pedicure, you said, are the list of qualifying local veterinarians on the website?
Yeah, if you go to their website, you can put in the zip code, and it'll give you a list of the participating vets in your office and also the mobile vets that participate.
Okay.
Yes?
Is the identity plan and the legal plan, are they portable?
Well,
Good
yes,
question.
they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are. We will be able to touch on this, but yeah, they are.
Anybody else?
The accidental injury insurance, if you don't utilize that, you get any kind of rebate at the end of the year?
Just the wellness benefit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Well, thank you very much for your time, everybody, and your attention. We really appreciate it. We're here if you have any individual questions that you want to ask, and then don't forget the lab will be open multiple times. Please feel free to come join us. We're happy to help you get acclimated with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.